Hey folks, it is I, the Console-Fennec. Hope you're all doing well. I wanted to go ahead and make this little 2025 year-end wrap-up video. It's mostly for me so I can verbalize and quantify how my channel is doing, but also for those of you who are curious about that kind of stuff. This video will have 3 parts to it, with the first part being about the channel itself, my stats, how I'm doing, and how I feel about the videos I've released. The second half, I'll talk about the games I plan to cover in the coming year, although the order I discuss them in is not necessarily the order that I will be reviewing them in. And then the final section will be more of an open letter to you, the fans, with a few questions from me to you about how I could improve the channel, or what sort of content you would like to see from me going forward. Also, for those of you who are curious, the footage you're seeing here in the background is from a recent playthrough of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 that I've been doing in my spare time. I don't think I'm going to make a video about this game because I suspect a lot of other big name reviewers are going to, but who knows, maybe I will. Also, for the record, I don't think the game itself was bad. I think it just failed to live up to the legacy of Bloodlines 1, and I think it made some design choices that really hurt its appeal. But enough about that, let's talk stats. In the year 2025, I released a total of 8 videos, which totaled up to 8 hours, 3 minutes, and 12 seconds of video footage for you, the fans, to watch. The longest video I released was my Immortal Phoenix Rising video, which clocked in at 1 hour, 54 minutes, 43 seconds long. Reinventing Watch Dogs Legion Online was my most popular new video of the year, though I do want to acknowledge that the re-upload of my Biomutant video somehow did even better this time than it did when I posted it originally back in 2024, earning over 3,790 views against the original video's view count of 211. According to my internal YouTube channel statistics, the average view duration of my videos is 16 minutes and 58 seconds long, which is something I am hoping to bring up in the coming year. I gained a total of 46 subscribers this year, and I want to take a moment to thank them, as well as shout out to anyone who responded to any of my posts or left comments on any of my videos. Thank you so much. The interaction with you, the fans, has been wonderful and has really helped to keep me motivated and working. As for the videos themselves, overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy with them. I think my use of flow and transitions has improved greatly since I started, and I feel like my skill at creating thumbnails has vastly improved, though I definitely still have room to grow. Of all the videos I've made this year, I think my Watch Dogs Legion video is my favorite. Something about figuring out how to improve the gameplay and better it without changing many of the game's original mechanics was a fun thought experiment to me, and I might do videos like this in the future if I come across games that spark that same level of creativity. I will, however, confess I still feel a little bad for my coverage of the DLC for Immortal Phoenix Rising, particularly how I only completed 1 out of the 3 DLC. On one hand, I feel like what I said and showed was honest to my experience with the DLC, as if I'm not enjoying the game in real life, I'm not going to continue to play it. At the same time though, as someone who would like to have a more professional channel, I understand that my critiques need to be a little more professional. So going forward, I'm going to try to find a better balance between these two impulses. Of all my videos I released in 2025, Ghostwire Tokyo I feel was my best video, and is the one I am most proud of. I particularly enjoyed the inclusion of combat audio in the background, as I feel it livened up the video a bit, so you the viewers had something else to listen to other than just my droning voice. Additionally, I enjoyed the transition and feel like for the most part they were smooth and well timed. I also find I enjoyed posting screenshots of the game's wiki page when it comes to talking about the game's overall gaming score from major critics and reviewers, as I feel it helps to better illustrate the overall consensus about the game we've been talking about. So I do plan to continue that going forward. Now, let's talk about the future. Turning our attention to the future, I've looked over my back catalog of games and I've found 4 that I think would be fun and are worth talking about. Like before, I won't be going for the biggest and the most popular games, as I feel like enough is said about them that nothing I could say would add anything new to the conversation. Instead, I'll stick to my smaller and less talked about games. As such, there are 4 games I for sure want to talk about in 2026. though I am leaving space for 2 additional games if anything strikes my fancy in the coming year. The first game I'd like to discuss is Sable. Released in September of 2021, Sable is a game from developer Shedworks and publisher Raw Fury, and tells the story of Sable, a young girl on the eve of adulthood as she undertakes a rite of passage known as the Gliding, which sees her leaving her home valley and going out to explore the world on her own for as long as she and the player character wants. Set on an alien world, Sable is a surrealist and abstract adventure that features no combat and instead is purely driven by the player's desire to explore the world and follow whatever leads they find. Game number 2 is Wildermyth. First released on PC in 2019 and then on console in 2024, Wildermyth is a game from World Walker Game Studios and quickly gained a reputation for its use of procedural generation, character development, and storytelling. The game itself contains several campaigns and a few free play modes that allow the player to endlessly adventure in its world and setting while experimenting with party composition or character builds. To me and others who have played it, Wildermyth might just be the game that comes closest to nailing the random and tangential nature of playing D&D with a real-life party, despite the player being on their own. It should be noted that for the purposes of this review, I will be talking about the console version of the game and not the PC version. Game number 3, Marvel's Midnight Sun. Released in December of 2022, Marvel Midnight Suns is a game from developer Firaxis Games and publisher 2K. Set in the fictional world of the Marvel Comics, the game sees the player assuming the role of the Hunter, a newly canon character who has awoken from a long and deep slumber now that the forces of Lilith and demons have begun to manifest and roam the world once more. Mechanically, Midnight Suns can be described as Persona meets a card battler, with a hint of slice-of-life anime mixed in for a smooth finish. And lastly, XCOM: The Bureau Declassified. Released in 2013, this tactical third-person cover shooter comes to us from 2K Marin and is published by 2K Entertainment, and is often considered to be the black sheep of the XCOM family. Set in the 1960s, the player assumes the role of Agent William Carter, who is tasked with delivering a secured briefcase to a military facility, only to get caught up in the opening battle of an alien invasion, and then pressed into service by the mysterious XCOM division of the United States military. The game is a soft blend of third-person shooting with some light strategy game mechanics and minor RPG elements. If by chance you've already played some of these games, then I hope you'll be excited to hear what I have to say about my experiences with them. If they are completely unknown to you, then I hope my experience with them will pique your interest enough to give them a try. I went back and forth for a while trying to decide if I should release this list or keep it to myself. Ultimately, I decided to release the list so that way if you want to give any of these games a try before you hear me talk about them, you can. Out of all of them, I would personally recommend giving Marvel Midnight Suns a try, as it is my favorite out of this current lineup. Now, I'd like to turn things over to you, the viewers, for a minute and ask you a couple questions. Number 1, in some of my videos, I sometimes get a little poetic and go off on tangents that are less about the mechanics and workings of the game and more about my own personal feelings and interpretations. Is that something you'd like to see more of, see less of, or leave it just the way it is? Secondly, my use of small tangents has grown over my various videos. Do you think this is something I should tone back, use more often, or keep the way I'm currently using them? Thirdly, in my most recent Ghostwire Tokyo video, I explored the idea of having background sounds behind my narration. Did you enjoy that? I know previously I stated I did, but I would like to hear from you, the viewers. Fourthly, a few people have told me that if I'm going to continue to do these videos, I really should consider opening up a Patreon so followers can help support me in my works. Personally, I don't think I'm popular or good enough to have a patron just yet. That being said, the idea of opening a Ko-Fi where a person doesn't have to subscribe to, but could just send me a tip or something, has its appeal, especially since I could then turn around and use the money earned to purchase the games I'm reviewing. What do you all think of this? Would you donate to a Ko-Fi, or would you even donate to a Patreon? Fifth, Lately, the length of my videos has been getting longer and longer. Do you enjoy these longer videos, or would you prefer shorter videos that are maybe around 45 minutes long? And lastly, several times while gathering footage for my videos, I would also stream my gameplay so anyone who wanted to could watch me gather the footage live. Is this something that you enjoyed? I know during these streams my lack of interaction while gathering the footage can be a bit off-putting, but if people do enjoy watching the gameplay live, I can see about tweaking some settings and being a bit more lively during these streams. Is that something that you all would be interested in? And now folks, I will draw this video to a close. I want to thank those of you who watched all the way through, and an even bigger thank you to those of you who responded to my questions. I will see you all in 2026, and I will keep you posted if there are any updates or changes to my plans.